Not all games are critical and commercial successes. Some end up with unfavorable opinions too. Sometimes their poorly executed aspects overshadow the actual brilliance. Some are released at the same time as long-awaited mega-productions, and then some games are perfectly fine but eventually become irrelevant. The end result? They're underrated and forgotten. So in this video, we bring you 5 such PC games that deserve much more hype. Let's dive in. Starting off with Hunt, Showdown. Do you ever think what comes after Battle Royale? If yes, do check out Hunt. It's a competitive first-person PvP bounty hunting game with some hardcore PvE elements. From the makers of Crysis, Hunt is set in the darkest corners of the world. It blends the thrill of survival games that we all love so much into a match-based format. In the game, you play a hunter in 1895 tasked with exterminating the savage, terrifying monsters that have infested the Louisiana Bayou. You can choose to play alone, which we don't really recommend, or in groups of 2 or 3 as you look for clues to help you track down the target and compete against other hunters fighting for the same prize. You can kill and banish your target, then collect the bounty and prepare for the showdown. But once you've got the bounty in your hands, every other hunter on the map will be after it. They'll do whatever they can in their power to get it back from you. Show no mercy. As you level up through the dark, unlock gear, collect experience, and gold for your bloodline, you'll be fighting in a ruthless world with brutal, period-inspired weapons. With 3 futuristic Crysis games under its belt, it's incredible that Crytek has crafted such a precise, rewarding shooter with guns pulled straight out of the Civil War documentaries and films. If you ask us, it's currently the most inventive, intense, and unique competitive FPS on Steam. Yet sadly, it only draws about 17,000 daily players on PC. Hunt definitely deserves to blow up, but we're sort of also hoping it doesn't. We all know what happens to games that get super popular overnight. Moving on to The Evil Within 2. Imagine for a moment you're approaching an unsettling, unnaturally placed corpse in an even creepier setting. You can't see its head at first, but as you emerge from a dark hall into the harsh fluorescence, you notice that instead of its head, there's a shower of blood, frozen in midair. The body is enclosed in a glass box with a camera on a tripod pointing in its direction. This bizarre art exhibit loops like the most terrifying GIF you've ever seen. This early scene sets the tone for The Evil Within 2, a grisly dance that constantly throws disturbing moments in the protagonist Sebastian Castellanos' way, who's on his quest to save his daughter. Directed by Shinji Mikami, the maker of Resident Evil 4, which is one of the best survival horror games of all time, sending shivers down our spine is his thing, and fans were eager for The Evil Within 2 to see if he was capable of dethroning his own masterpiece. Unfortunately though, for some, it couldn't live up to the high standards of its predecessor, and fans often felt like it was revisiting the same old ground. But, and hear us out, we feel it's a much weirder and a way more polished sequel. If you think of it, The Evil Within 2 didn't want to replicate past successes. Instead, it's a completely unique and introspective take on the genre with storytelling that matched its gameplay. But despite this, sales were very low, and it's unclear if developer Tango Gameworks will be given the chance for a 3rd game. Apparently, Ghostwire Tokyo started out as The Evil Within 3, but went on its own route. Still, we feel that it deserves a 2nd chance with an open mind and fair expectations. Next up, it's KeYWe. We bet many of you are pretty much done with blood, gore, and horror games that have dominated the industry for a while now. We know, it gets overwhelming, and sometimes you're just looking for something more relaxing and less anxiety-inducing. If so, check out KeYWe, a super cute, cooperative postal puzzler starring Jeff and Deborah. These are 2 tiny kiwi birds working on a bizarre post office with no one to help them. They must jump, flap, peck, and butt slam their way across an interactive landscape of levers, bells, and buttons to get those messages delivered on time. But it isn't all that simple. Expect to come across dangerous postal environments and make it past seasonal hazards while waddling through the telepost's various mail rooms. Oh, and don't forget to dodge those malicious vines that swipe typewriter keys as you try to type an address. You can also partner up with a friend to help these adorable Kiwis complete their tasks, whatever the weather. And if you finish the level well under the time limit, you get more currency to spend on cosmetic unlockables, such as aviator glasses and a suit of armor to become the best-dressed mail delivery Kiwi in Bungalow Basin. It's honestly surprising that KeYWe didn't catch on as it should have. Everyone loves the chaos of trying to plate dishes under a time limit in Overcooked, but sending mail as a kiwi bird, which sounds so much more fun by the way, just wasn't enough, we guess. KeYWe's simplicity and how easy it appears at first, combined with its potential for disaster within its increasingly complex levels, is exactly why it's a great game to play with a friend over Discord. Up next, we got Escape Simulator. Now, this isn't particularly that old, but it appears that many people have already forgotten that it exists. But right now, it's a great way to avoid the chaos of a real-life escape room. Escape Simulator is a first-person puzzle game that drops you in a room room and leaves you to solve your way out. If you've watched the movie Escape Room, it's pretty much the same concept. The puzzles range from straightforward math problems to confusing pictograph translations, and it's a lot more fun to play if you've got some friends around to bounce ideas off of. And if you want to try it before you buy it, there's a demo available too. Although the timed levels can be a bit annoying, once you get the hang of the language of the puzzles, it's not that hard to figure out what you need to do before having to restart. Escape Simulator even has a level editor if you're clever enough to rip through all the developer levels and if you've got some ideas for puzzles yourself. It's the kind that can get you addicted. Trust us, you'll keep going back to it for a while. Honestly, it's a little surprising that more people don't have it in their regular rotation of games to play. But we're not surprised since it requires you to use your brain with all the math and stuff required. But still, we say give it a shot because you can totally train your mind and prepare for that next math test with these puzzlers. And finally, Honkai Impact 3rd. Honkai Impact 3rd would never have existed without Genshin Impact. The older gacha game from Hoyoverse features similar third-person combat with arena-clearing abilities and character switching, but this one's wrapped in a much more adult storyline. It's still a gacha though, so understandably it hasn't exploded in the West, but its level-based structure allows its duels to be more fun than Genshin Impact's combat is. And guess what? You don't even have to be involved with its gacha mechanics as much to have fun. It's fundamentally predatory, like many other gacha games. But this one doesn't seem to bother the players as much as other such games. Besides, if you can get through those parts, you'll see that it's Hoyoverse's strongest and most satisfying combat system. Well, at least until Zenless Zone Zero is out. To be honest, it's always interesting to hear people talk about Genshin Impact's combat when Honkai Impact battles have far more opportunities for over-the-top attacks. And let's not forget the mobility that doesn't even require you to handle a stamina meter. Not to mention, it also recently got a revamped new player experience. It's safe to say that Genshin Impact is the broadest version of what Honkai Impact 3rd does best. Honestly, it's a shame that very few people recognize how unmatched the action is in the game that came before it. We feel it definitely deserves way more hype. We don't know about you, but we're definitely giving this one another shot. And hey, it's totally free, so we're not complaining about gotchas or outdated structures. Also, honorable mention, We Were Here. The We Were Here series as a whole is one of the best co-op games on PC. And guess what? The first one is totally free. Castle Rock is filled with incredibly exciting escape room puzzles, and having to communicate via walkie-talkie to swap clues while separated is a friendship-testing twist on the game. If you're a huge fan of co-op games, you'll definitely come across at least one of these. And they've done well enough for Total Mayhem to make 4 of them, but unfortunately, they're not as well known as they should be. Genuine co-op campaigns have been difficult to come by recently, so if you've enjoyed It Takes Two or Man of Medan, you should definitely give this one a shot with your bestie. And with that, it's a wrap for this video. What other PC games do you think deserve more hype? Comment below and let us know. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more. See you in the next one.